Hello everyone, I'm SurrealBeliefs and welcome to my Surreal Spotlight, where today I'll be covering 3 modifications. Now this may make you tear up and I do apologize for that, but it may invoke a deep feeling of nostalgia. Now first off, let's look at the more obvious mod. I have Rome Total War UI. Now that is meant to change up basically the loading screens and the UI here. As you can see, we can look back to Rome 1 and see that this background might be familiar. Now we can move on from there. You can also hear Rome Total War music, which is also the name of that mod that I'm using too. So it brings back the soundtracks from Rome 1 over to Rome 2. Now finally, what may completely complete the Roman pie here is Roman houses, Familia Romana. This modification will add in the 3 houses that you would find in Rome 1. Now let's go over here to Grand Campaign. We'll go to Rome, and as you can see, we have House of Brutii, we have House of Scipii, and over here, the House of Julii. Now there's also the SPQR, the Senate, but you're not allowed to play as them. Now, currently, in the form of the mod that we have at this moment, you're able to receive missions from the Senate. Also, there isn't a direct civil war. What you have is where the other Roman factions will declare war upon you for being too powerful, and that will happen when your Imperium is too high. And finally, you do need Hannibal at the gates to play as the Scipii, so keep that in mind. And again, if you would like to download these mods, I have them linked down below, but let's go take a look at these factions. We'll begin as the Julii over here. Alright, let's go in. And once more, we have another Rome Total War screenshot here. I mean, when I played this, I was like, wow, I feel like it's 5 years back, 6 years back. I mean, that's basically when I played a lot more Rome Total War. And all the modifications that came with it. I know a big one that people love is Romana Surrectum 2, which is an amazing feat of just really hard work and a lot of research too. So let's go inside, and we can look at the map, and then we'll probably end it with a nice battle where the 3 houses fight together. Alright, so as you can see, the icon changes back to its Rome 1 state, and I believe he has a few plans to add on to this modification. Now, those are, I believe, where he'll add in unique units to each faction, and from that point on, I'm really not too certain about what he'll be doing from there, but I believe he'll be also adding on a modification for Carthage and also Egypt that's meant to expound upon them too. But anyway, here's the map. We'll be able to see more of our friends if we have a treaty with them. Let's go down here. Alright, lady, I don't need your help. Alright, we'll go over to the House of Scipii, like that. Let's see, we'll trade, and again, let's turn you off. Go home. Alright, well, we don't really need to trade, we just need to have military access, that way we can see what they're doing, but apparently they don't want that. Shame on them. What about the Brutii? Would you like military access? You would not. You're making me sad here. Maybe if I do that. Still no. Alright, fine. I don't want to see your lands anyway. But that's basically how the mod works here, is that you begin as one of the 3 houses of Rome, the major political parties here, or just the major bloodlines, I could say, that you saw in Rome 1. And at that point, it really does change up the whole dynamic of the game. If you were to wait to fight Rome at a later point, I feel like they would be a lot more powerful. They would be able to expand in many different directions. If you were to play as the Brutii, your first foe would be Epirus over here to the east. My first foe would be who then? Probably the Veneti up here in Liguria. And at that point, you would see Rome really expand all over because they would be more focused. They would have individual factions that could focus on their jobs. And over here, he might need to fix it to where they're not starving. But I believe the SPQR, the Senate, they have a lot of buffs to let them have large armies and to also stay in Roma like that. And I believe we finally need to end this on a very fun battle. So let's go. So now we have the 3 great Roman houses fighting together. We have the Scipii, Brutii, and Julii, all attempting to put away Carthage for good. Now I gave the Brutii a lot of elites and auxiliary infantry, so they shouldn't be very heavy in their capability to fight, but in a moment I'll send in my own units to help things out. Until that point, we'll keep letting our allies fight the battle, but the war dogs should go in. That's my view on that. Alright, let's send in my Hastati, the first wave. They'll move in right now, and then we'll send in other units, as it looks like they're in big trouble. Of course, they did not have their entire army unified, so that will bring about ruin to your army if you're facing their entire army. Alright. There goes the elephants. At least all but one. Hopefully that will damage their own units. Here comes my Hastati. Let's get my Principes ready to fight. I'll place them over here. And then, of course, my one group of Triarii. Alright. Let's bring in my general and bodyguard. and hopefully we can turn this battle around with the might of the Julii. My war dogs are certainly helping out. Look at that. Not bad, puppy. Not bad, puppy Chow Chow. Okay. Really is good to see that they're not fighting. Oh, hello. One elephant is left and now it's back in control. That's a shame. We need that elephant dead. It can still cause a lot of damage. So far, my Hastati are doing just fine. My Principes are about to strike. Let's move my Principes a little bit closer to my foe's flank. Triarii go after their Italian swordsmen for fun. That's what we do for fun in the House of Julii. We kill things. Mostly mercenaries from Carthage. There we go. Also, if you're curious as to how to download these mods, you do need a Steam account. I mean, that's where you get Rome 2 as well. And you will need Hannibal at the gates for this particular modification. Now, from that point on, all you need to do is go to these links on Steam and click on the subscribe button, and it should automatically download when you boot up the game, or at that moment. Alright, Principes, go over here. Our foes are split up now. Good work, Scipii. But now we need to help out my own soldiers. Alright, I'll let the 4 of you now move behind them. If we do that, then they can break. If they break, we'll be in a better place. Hastati, you're holding out, but you can still use some help. I feel that to be the case here. Alright. Also, to let you know, I believe this modification also incorporates the 4 turns per year, I guess, edit, which means that if you have any mod that changes that, don't use it with this mod or it will cause problems. Alright, let's hit them from behind now. A bit like that. It's a bit more cluttered than I would like, but I believe we have it under control. Let's bring in my leader. I wonder how my war dogs are doing. I have no clue if I have any dogs still alive. Maybe. We've killed most of their warriors. Very good. My flanking maneuver could have been executed a little bit more efficiently, but they've gotten the point. They shouldn't be here for too long. There we go. Nice work, Romans. My favorite era to play as the Romans, I guess it's kind of funny to me, is the early Republic or the mid-Republic or even the late Republic, but really the mid-Republic is a good, I guess, era for me, just because, you know, I like to have that triple axis, that formation where you have the Hastati in the front, you have the Principes next, and then your Triarii. It works very well. I use it a lot in my own Roman campaigns. Alright, now we've won the battle, that's it. The 3 houses fought together and they won. That's pretty good. Alright, let's go look at our kill stats real quick. Off we go. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this mod spotlight. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see all of you later. So as always, until then.